Hello, this is Vishal, and we are in our new tutorials, that is Mvvm in Android. So, in my previous tutorials of Android and Swift, I already described how to do the data binding, and in Swift, I described you that what is a Mvvm. So, the same pattern we have to follow here in Android because of some students want to do that. What is exactly Mvvm? So before that, it's good you watch my previous tutorials, that is data binding. So that is the first basic step to do the Mvvm. Okay, so let me start for Mvvm. What is this Mvvm exactly? See, in a diagram we have a view, in a mediator we have a view model, and this is our model. So that means model, view, view, model. So this is called here Mvvm. Okay, so the concept is, if we see our previous models, that we say we have a MVC in which we have a model view controllers. The controller can interact with both the sides, and MVP, everything should be in a presenter. That means all the events and commands we have to put on that and then interact with the view. So the same concept here, but here we have one more thing, that is called your data binding to our XMLs. So that's the first and the basic step to do that. So this is the data binding, we already use it, and again I will show you in this new tutorials. Okay, so this is our previous tutorials. If you see that, this is our MVC, our MVP, and now we have to discuss about the view model. So model, so first I have to describe you some basic steps. What is a model? And in my simple language I can say it is a domain model which represent the real world, as we say the student and your user. That means by way we have to make our project, we have to build our things, just like for the login session we use a user login, email and password. So we have to describe in a model the same thing. We student, we need the ID, roll numbers, likewise that employee. So this we our model structure. View, which the user can see on a screen, on mobile screen. So that's be our structure, that means our layouts. And view model, what is this? That is interesting because of it is a new here, that is a view model. Actually, for the view and the model we give a we can say it a mediator, or we can say it a communicator, that is in which we have everything, every public properties and command we interact with view model and show to your layout by the binding. So that is the very simple line. That means by the binding we can interact with our login XML, and we interact the view model to our model, as you see in this. If we take an example, just like we have a login XML, we have invoke action, and that is by view model, and we can bind our data by the view model, and that view model be our model. If your model be single, you can create this model view model be a together, but it's good if you discriminate the things. That means you create your models different, okay, by the view model. So how we can do these things in Android, that we can see practical, but at this time this is not a pure Mvvm. We'll show you on our next tutorial or next video how to use that, a pure Mvvm work, and how you can bind your list views using this Mvvm also. So today I'm just giving example of a small login session, how we can interact with it and how we can put our commands on that. So for this you have to know three basic things. First is your data binding. That means as per my previous tutorial, that is video, you can see that how we can interact with that, how we can bind the data. And the second is create model. That means we have to bind elements with XML. Okay, and that I will show you again. Then that is your activity main binding, that is your main activity. That means where you have to show. Okay, and you have to set action with the your view model. So how we can do that? These all these stuffs I've showed to you in Android project. Okay, so let me describe to you practically. So the first thing is, as my previous tutorial, that is build gradle, and inside the build gradle we have to put this data binding enable true. This is your first basic step of Mvvm approach. And if you want to be if to clear the more fun that I have described already in my Swift tutorials, you just, if you are working with Android, so don't go with the Swift practically, but there you can see that I describe the things well in Mvvm, only theoretical part you can see that, because the practical approach be different in iOS and Android both. So this is your data binding enable is equals to true. This is our first basic step of Android. Okay, and now we create a first we have to create structure for this, and I already described that. Make it a linear, and for this is our layout structure. Everything should be in a layout, and apply these things be here, otherwise remain there, but it's good. And this is your edit text, and I don't want to be like, just be simple edit text. Copy this to text, and one more, this is your button, login button. Okay, and here no need of this text because we have to bind. No need of this text, we have to bind. And here you can say it login. Okay, and now make it gravity as a center, and if any color, default color be there, so make the background as a color primary. Let's see what happen. Okay, and your approach be your orientation, I have to work with a vertical. Okay, so this is your, and here make it a match parent, match parent, and match parent. And if you want to work with the padding, you can do it 5 dp and whatever you want. This is your simple structure, and make the background color of this button be as accent color, so it's look good, fine. And little bit margin we have set, margin top 10 dp, just copy paste. So this is our simple layout. Okay, one more thing, just for a view, make the color also be as a, I need one more color, that is a white. Okay, and that means it show good using the text color be a white, and hint color be also be a white. So the same thing here, and here text style be your bold. So I think that's enough, fine. Okay, now, and this is our simple structure of this layout. Everything should be inside your data. We have to work with the data because of we have to bind elements with this data. Okay, so first here you have to make two packages. The first package is model. Okay, and the second package you have to make a view model. Very simple. In a model, if I want to make a Java class, that is a user class. Very simple. And in this user class you just create a private email string. This is your email and this is your password, and copy this to be here as a email hint and password hint. Just I want to show this, and make a constructor for only for because of I have to pass a public user. This is do one thing, don't be like that, just say right click and generate. So easy. This is your constructor. I want be the email and password hint. Very simple. Okay, so this be your simple model. Now we have to work with the view model, and here I am making a model class user model. So here you can create multiple models for this, as we'll describe more about on our next videos, in which how we can do all the complete project, how we can create in it. So just very simple basic step is how we can make our user model for the email. So this is your user model, and here one more thing. Okay, just simple first. In a user model, create a constructor for this model. Yeah, simple. And here you can say the same thing. I want to copy, because of you can create uh, don't get confused in it actually. So you can create the same thing be for in a user model also. That means user and user model you can create on that same thing, but actual discrimination will show you be in uh, here how we can use this user be in your model. Okay, so here this is your private user and this is your user no need of this user, and this is your email hint. This dot email hint is equals to user dot nothing for that. One more constructor needed. User dot. Okay, let me check what happened. Make it public access file because of it is outside the package. Okay, so this is your email hint, and the same you have to copy for this dot password hint is your password hint, which is necessary. That's make be the which is under your user. You can make it a private, and then if you want to access, then break it your password hint. Okay, now this is your generate, and generate your getter setters. We here all getter setters we want to generate. These be your generations of all the things. Okay, now first as we did the simple data binding, I'm doing that data binding with your activity. So here activity main binding, this is your activity binding. Okay, and what we described the last time, this is your activity binding, and that's be your data binding util dot set content view. We have to set the content view for this and for the layout main. Okay, so this is your set content view, very simple. Leave it here, go for the layout, and here you can set your variable first, and variable be your login, and this is your com dot example vishal example, and this is your view model and user model, because of we have to interact with user model, not with the model. Everything should be a user model, we have to walk in it. So that's the base. So that means it is very simple. First we create a data binding, then we go for your simple, we create our layout, and then make a variable for this, set the variable, and then here you can say for the hint at this is your login, because of everything should be our object, that is your login, and you have to set email hint, and the same thing you have to copy for next edit, and this is your password hint. So first this is your basic step, the bind data. Okay, for user model. So here in your main activity you can say that user model new user model, and this is your, you have to pass the values for this user, or you can say it not, no need of this, you can put it on directly. Likewise new user, and here you have to pass whatever you want to show on as a hint, that is your password. Okay, and then bind this user model with your activity binding dot set login as user model. Okay, so this is your very simple basic step for binding. We'll show first. Because of on previous tutorials I did the things with the model, but here I give the approach how you apply the events with these models, and then on the second step, that means on my next video, will show to you how we can use the pure Mvvm. So first this is the practice, this is your practice how we can interact with Mvvm as a very first level. Okay, so let's see what happened in this. Yeah, so here you can see that this is your hint email and the password by the binding. Okay, so now we have to apply some events, just means if somebody we want that email and a password inside, so what to do, it's an easy, you go for one more package. You have to put all your commands be here. It's good, make it discriminate, otherwise you can put it on your user models also, but make the commands package name be here. And these commands, we have a new command that is a Java class, make it interface, because of we need a single command, so make it user login. Okay, we give the name to that command, user login. And here you can make it abstract, public void on click login. Okay, so that's be our user login interface. So for this user login interface, we have to bind this interface also with your main activity. So we need one more variable that is called your user login event. Okay, and here we don't know about, we have to do with example 2. This is your commands user login. Okay, so everything should be on your user login event, and this user login event we have to apply in your button. Okay, so you can say it on click, and for this applying we do the same thing as an add your view. We need a view for that, and this is your, what is the user login event. So this is your user login event dot, what the method name we have to put it be here, that's your on click login. Okay, and then your brackets, so you can say it, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is our on click event ready for the button, but how we can use it? Go for the model first. We need to set email, so we want a notify events for that, so make this extends be your base observable. Base observable, this class what is used for to notify everything with your ID, particular ID of your XML. So this is your base observable. So for this we need two IDs for our email edit text and password edit text. So what to do? Make an ID that is email ID, and here it is pass ID. Okay, so these two IDs we can direct communicate with our user model base observable. How we can do? See, go for your set mail, where we have a set mail. You can see notify property change. Okay, so that is the most important, notify property change. That means everything should be with your edit text, it can control and show that what happened in that particular area. So this is your r.id dot email ID be here. Okay, and the same thing you can set your password. This is your pass ID. So these two things be set here, and now we come on the main activity again. Here we can apply this event, so say activity main binding dot set user login event. That means a new user login. Okay, we can create our user login event be here. Okay, and here we can show that what happened with that, either by the log and by the toast. So this is a toast dot make test, and this is our main activity dot this, and here we have activity main binding dot get login dot get email, or whatever you want for that, toss dot length short dot show. Okay, so you can see this event by, so you can work with this event and apply anything with that. Okay, but that is not a good way to do the things in your main activity, but this is the approach at this time. So this is our main activity binding with the, and let's see anything remain we have. This is your email, yeah, text, because of that is the most important, we need a text for that. So what is the text? This is your add, and here it's an important, so you use this equal, so can we set the text here. Okay, so first let me check it is fine or not. Login dot email, not interact with this, yeah, that is fine. Okay, now this is your password. Okay, so that means whatever be in our text, it notify by the user model base observable, and that notification, that we have to pass it and show it by the binding. So let me check what happened. I think for every big project we need a base clear. So this is the base of binding with Mvvm approach. If everything fine, then it's work fine. Okay, so this is your, if I put it the Vishal, and this event, you can see this is a Vishal. Okay, yeah, so this is the Mvvm, a basic level first approach, and thank you so much to watching this video, and you can see our new tutorials in which Mvvm approach be how we can do it, we do it with the purity level, and also be how we can use our list view and the other things with this bindings. So we'll show you on that Mvvm approaches on the next tutorials. So thank you for the watching, thank you so much.